my blues away.
Come gather round, people, wherever you roam, and admit that the waters around you have grown, and accept it that soon you'll be drenched to the bone. If your time to you is worth saving, then you better start swimming or you'll sink like a stone, for the times they are a-changing. Some writers and critics who prophesize with your pen, and keep your eyes wide, the chance won't come again. And don't speak too soon, for the wheel's still in spin, and there's no telling who that it's naming. 'Cause the loser now will be later to win, for the times they are a-changing. Senators, congressmen, please heed the call. Don't stand in the doorway, don't. I want to split now. Hold me, hold me, hold me. Really gotta hold on. You really gotta hold on. I said you really gotta hold on. You really gotta hold on. You know you really gotta hold on. You really gotta babe, you got a real tight hold on. You really gotta babe, you really gotta hold on.
Put a spell on you. You better stop the things you do. I ain't lying. No, I ain't lying. You know better, Daddy. I can't. I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. And I don't care if you don't want me. I'm young. Oh, you hear me? I put a spell on you. Because you really gotta hold on me. Really gotta hold on me. You really gotta hold on me. Really gotta hold on me. I love you, and all I want you to do is just hold me. You really gotta hold on me. Really gotta hold. I said you really gotta hold on me. Really gotta hold. You know you really gotta hold on me. Really gotta hold. You know you really gotta hold on. Really gotta hold. I said you really gotta hold on me. single thing we couldn't do.
We could be married,
We could be married,
and then we'd be happy.
and then we'd be happy.
Oh, wouldn't it be nice? You know, it seems the more we talk about it, it only makes it worse to live without it. But let's talk about it. Wouldn't it be
I want a Sunday kind of love, a love to last past Saturday night, and I'd like to know it's more than love at first sight. And I want a Sunday kind of love.
Good afternoon, and thank you everyone for coming this afternoon, for those of you who are here with us and those of you who are watching online. As we say goodbye to Lindsay Weller, who was a beloved husband, father, grandfather, brother, uncle, and friend. And I know that his wife Diane and his daughters Courtney and Stephanie and their husbands and children are feeling surrounded by friends and family today, and that is important. Thank you. My name is Eunice Friesen, and I am honored to be here today. As I was just telling the family a few minutes ago, I was saying that when I didn't know Lindsay. And the first picture that I had of him was the picture that you see here of his obituary, which is from his wedding, and apparently is one of the few photos of him actually smiling with teeth. So I looked at this photo and I thought, okay, I can kind of peg what kind of guy this is, and I thought, the suit and the boutonniere, I thought very proper and all that sort of thing. And then I read the eulogy and some of the tributes and a little bit about him, and I realized that I was mistaken, and it was interesting as we walked into that song, and I did see a few of you bobbing heads and singing along under your breath, and I just think that's a real fitting way for Lindsay's service to start, so thank you. In a few minutes, we'll be having an open mic, and I'm warning you ahead of time so that you can be prepared with perhaps a story or a few stories or a memory that you have of Lindsay. I know that his family would appreciate it very much if you would be so bold as to come up to the mic and share with everyone. So you've been warned, and you can start screwing up your courage now. First, though, I would like to invite Courtney and Stephanie and Casey to come up, and they will be giving a eulogy and tributes, after which Brenda Wickberg will come up to give a tribute.
Lindsay Thomas Weller was born on August 22nd. 1956 to Harold and Vivian Weller in a booming metropolis town of Hythe. He was blessed to enter the world with his twin sister Lorna. When Dad and Lorna were in grade 1, Dad thought he might like to take hairdressing and tried it out by cutting off of Lorna's pigtails off. He didn't pass that test. Dad attended school in Hythe, where he graduated grade 12. Dad was a bit of a hellraiser in his youth, and long before obtaining his driver's license, he became infamous with the locals for his backroad antics. He was living his best life in Hythe when he decided to hit the open road to Hay River, obtaining a job with the railroad. After having too much of the fast pace in Hay River, he hit the open road again and headed towards Grand Prairie. After he came back from Hay River, the railroad called him to go back to work for them, but he figured if he went back, he would just stay, and he knew the love of his life was somewhere in Grand Prairie waiting for him. He found a job in Grand Prairie with Midwest Electric and obtained his electrician journeyman ticket. After obtaining his electrical ticket, he also pursued his millwright ticket. Dad went up to Rainbow Lake to work in the electrical field as Midwest was closing. He then found a job with Titan Electric until he went to work for AEC, where he was hired on to do electrical maintenance work. After long days driving back and forth to Demet, he obtained a position at the Claremont gas plant, where he worked until having to go into long-term disability. He loved his motorcycle and thought that instead of a dinner table in the kitchen would be a great place to rebuild his motorcycle. Dad loved to ride his Harley. He unfortunately had an accident on his bike, which landed him in the hospital for at least 3 months. Before he was able to be discharged, the nurse went to the trouble to get him a farewell steak, but it was given to the wrong patient, and Dad ended up with oatmeal instead. Dad met Mom in 1976 and started dating in the summer of 1978, and they were married on May 28, 1988. In Grand Prairie, they purchased an acreage near Besançon in 1984, where they lived in a mobile home until building our beautiful home in 1990. Before settling down with children, Dad and Mom spent quite a few enjoyable hours with their friends, Terrell and Lorette. On one occasion, Dad, Terrell, and Terrell's son, Dwayne, went fishing, and Dwayne went to cast out and caught the big one, which would consist of my dad's nose. Dad, being the medical personnel he was trying to get the hook out of his nose, but continued to turn gray at each attempt, so had to proceed to the emergency room in Valley View to have it removed. Mom and Dad welcomed my sister Stephanie on October 13, 1989, and I completed their family on November 2nd, 1991. When Mom was pregnant with Stephanie, Dad's sister and brother-in-law, Diane and Louie, came to visit, and they were sitting out on the deck after Diane and Lindsay had just finished building it, and they called the place Haney's Acres, after the Green Acres show they loved. Dad spent a lot of time landscaping the acreage with us. He always had us on the tractor or the lawnmower. The acreage brought ample opportunity for recreation and disaster. There was a time that Dad was going to clear the dugout for winter skating for us, except for it wasn't completely frozen, and in went Dad, the tractor, and us. Good thing it was shallow. A quick call was made to our Uncle Dwayne to get the tractor out. Often, most weekends were filled with trips to Totem for whatever trinket Dad needed. Dad amassed a lot of stuff over the years, as it showed in his rental storage unit. Dad also enjoyed being a farmer, which started when they received ducks as a wedding gift from his sister-in-laws. He loved it so much he decided we need to learn how to work on a farm, and we got alpacas. Dad and Stephanie built those sheds to keep them covered, and we all helped putting the fences in. Many think that Dad's favorite color was blue, but we know that is not true. It was definitely dusty rose, as the ensuite to Mom and Dad's bedroom would show. Can't tell you how many times my friends asked if that was my mom's bathroom, and I had to say, no, that's Dad's. The last few years, Dad was a caregiver for Mom and took such good care of her. I am so grateful to have had the father I did. Not many little girls are allowed 10 girls at a slumber party every other weekend, and not many of them can run over their dad with their kitty cat skidoo without them being upset. I was lucky enough to tell him in the recent months, being so far away from him, what it meant to have a father like him who never judged and always supported me in everything I did. He was the kind of dad that if you called him and told him you'd done something really bad, he would ask me what size of tarp I needed and if I had the shovel ready. There was no such thing as an inappropriate conversation because my father was one of my best friends. People say it gets easier with time, but honestly, I miss him more each day because every time I think of him, more amazing memories to come to mind. But we know that although Dad may be gone, he will always be our guardian angel and give us something to aspire to. His wings will always protect us because his wings were his shield of steel. Go ahead.
Do you want to go first, Casey? Do you want me to go? We're all here today to celebrate the bright light that was Lindsay Weller. I can't thank all of you enough for being here. It truly shows how many lives he truly touched. My dad was my best friend, and I look forward to sharing many stories with many of you later. Dad always said that his death should be a party, to celebrate, remember, and share the good times. I'll miss him more than words can say, but he made strong daughters, and we'll celebrate him instead of losing him to illness. Let us take this moment to remember him, all that he was, and all that he inspired in others. I love you, Dad, and I'll miss you. So, if it was Lindsay, LT, Weller, or the hooligan driver from down the road, however you knew him, let's celebrate him today. Here you go, honey.
My grandpa was a great man, and by heart I knew he was. My mom and dad told me he was kind and loving, and he will be missed by all. I have my favorite memory when I was a toddler or so. I'd wake him up with a book in my hand, and even though he was tired, he would still read it to me. I thank him today and honor him for blessing me with the gift of reading, and hope all is well with him in heaven or where he is now, right now.
Thank you.
Thank you, girls. And I wasn't going to introduce Brenda, but I guess I came up and I am introducing Brenda Wickberg for a tribute as well.
I had the pleasure of meeting Lindsay when I was about 14 years old, when he first started dating Diane. He was living in a mobile home where the Northside Safeway sits today, and yes, he did have his motorcycle in the kitchen where the table should have been. Grease all over the floor, but he just laughed and said, "Who needs a kitchen table anyway?" A few years later, quite a few years later maybe, I remember spending quite a few Friday, Saturday evenings in that trailer with friends, and not once was there any underage drinking. Lindsay was the only person I knew who enjoyed driving a vehicle and reading so much that he could do both together. I remember him reading an entire novel while driving to Edmonton. He loved to read and was a very smart man. I remember visiting Lindsay in the hospital quite often after his bike accident, as I was a candy striper at the hospital. He didn't think it was very funny when I played with his casted toes or tried to readjust the sling holding up his leg. I did give him quite a bit of information on Diane that he thought was quite interesting, but Diane did not think so. Lindsay and I shared a special bond, as we were the ones who spent the evening after Diane had Courtney picking out a name for her. We had picked out some real good ones that left us in stitches, while Diane didn't think we were very funny. Courtney, be glad your mom loved you so much, because if it would have been left up to your dad and I, who knows what your name would be today. Lindsay loved being out on the acreage. This was his safe haven. There were plenty of weekend fires and get-togethers with plenty of laughter. I remember a time when we were out there for supper and we were looking through photo albums. I mistook Lindsay's mom for his would-be girlfriend. I was totally mortified, but Lindsay thought that that was the funniest thing ever. I'm sure he's still laughing as he is watching over us today. Lindsay was a great person who will be remembered for his jacked-up truck, his love of old cars, his love of his cowboy boots, which he put many miles on, and his love for his family. He will be truly missed. Rest in peace, my friend.
Thank you, Brenda. So it is now time for you to share any stories that you would like to, just as you would tell a friend, whether it's one story or a few stories. Please feel free to come up to the mic. I know it is very intimidating, and I'm sure, though, that as you share some coffee and tea afterwards, you'll share many memories, perhaps a few tears, and hopefully some laughs with Lindsay's family. Yeah. So, as I was reading some things over and hearing these stories about Lindsay, A few qualities of character that he possessed really stood out to me. And I selected these before I even heard a few of the tributes today, and I know that they are even more fitting than I anticipated. I'm going to share 4 with you. First of all, Lindsay was a man of great enthusiasm. Enthusiasm means being filled with the Spirit. And when we live with enthusiasm, we're excited about life and we're open to the wonders that each day holds. We do things wholeheartedly with zeal or eagerness, holding nothing back. And I think this was first demonstrated by Lindsay back when he was cutting his sister's pigtails, and later on when he was fixing his Harley in his kitchen or driving like a hooligan. When we live with enthusiasm, we live in the moment and we appreciate what we have, finding joy in simple pleasures. We're cheerful and optimistic about what is to come. Enthusiasm helps us imagine what is possible, and it allows us to follow our dreams with true joy. And Lindsay certainly did follow his dreams with a great deal of determination. The second quality that I picked. Determination is the power of intent that drives our dreams. It's the strength of will to act with resolve. And he showed this when he had his accident and spent 3 months recovering. That is no easy task. And I don't think I've ever met a farmer who is not driven by determination. It is no easy job. And I guess I could say that about a Harley rider as well, because I understand they can take constant fixing. When we are determined, we focus our energy on a purpose and we persevere until we meet our goal. It's the commitment to follow through until we accomplish our purpose. We care about something so much that even when difficulties arise and things don't come easy, we keep going. We complete the tasks that we choose to do. Someone who has enthusiasm and determination can change the world. Those are 2 very special qualities. The next 2, Casey, you mentioned them both. And I was delighted to see that. And I saw you playing out both of them even as you stood here. That was his kindness and his love. Kindness is caring that springs from compassion. We have genuine concern for the welfare of others. We are warm, friendly, and ready to help. We listen for the needs beneath the words, even if the needs are to make sure you've got the right tarp and the right tools. That's his kindness. We give tender attention in simple ways that bring others happiness. Kindness is the daily bread of love. Lindsay showed his kindness in many ways. I heard also that he hid extra snacks in the pink bathroom because he knew that others were enjoying his secret stash. That was his kindness at work. When we are kind, we also remember to be kind to ourselves, because when we fill our own cup, our kindness overflows naturally to others, as it has in the last few years to Diane, as Lindsay cared for her. But most of all, throughout his life, Lindsay loved the people around him. He loved his friends, and he loved his family. Love is at the center of our being. It is the vital force that gives us energy and direction. Love is the irresistible attraction for a person, a place, an idea, or even for life itself. Love thrives on acceptance and appreciation. When it's nurtured by commitment and seasoned by kindness, love is our greatest gift. You take these gifts forward in your lives. Lindsay's left a great legacy of family that also shows determination and enthusiasm. And let me tell you what I saw from over here. Many of you probably didn't. But when the girls were standing here with Casey sort of at the back, when Courtney was having a difficult time, Casey reached out a hand to lay on her hand. That is the legacy of kindness and love that exists in this beautiful family. As we go our separate ways today into a world without Lindsay, you can rest in knowing that you carry with you his enthusiasm, his determination, his kindness, and his love. And as you practice these gifts in your own lives, take a moment to think of Lindsay and to do that in his memory. Please stay for a cup of coffee and a quick visit with Lindsay's family before they head out to the cemetery at Hythe. And if you haven't yet, please take a moment to enjoy these meaningful items that are on the table at the front of the hall here. I'm going to close with an old Irish blessing that's familiar to many, and it happens to be very well suited to a kind man who loved to drive. May the road rise up to meet you. May the wind be always at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your face and the rains fall soft upon your fields. Until we meet again, may God hold you in the palm of his hand. Jackson wants to tell his grandpa he loves him and thank him for the Harley.
Can't believe that you got me in a suit and tie. I had to take a pull so I wouldn't cry. You got a line out the church door saying goodbye. Yeah, I believe them when they say you're in a better place. You had a wild side, but you had amazing grace. I know you're way off up in them clouds, but if you could still hear me right now, I hope you hit those gold streets on 2 wheels. I hope your mansion in the sky's got a 10-acre field with some mud and some hubs you can lock in. Make some thunder, make them wonder how you got in. Hide your beer, hide your clear from the man upstairs. Crank it loud, hold it down till I get there. And when I do, I hope you got some new stories to tell. Till then, give heaven some hell.
When the night has come and the land is dark and the moon